So this is the one I can speak to in my sleep. This is the banking piece. So I'll just go through one after the other. So day-to-day banking, obviously, for any business to really transact, let's use that word, you need a business deposit account. Now, that's the umbrella, that's the foundation basically for you to say, okay, because you're not gonna put the money in your house, right? You'll be breaking money laundering laws if you're taking cash and putting it under your bed. So we need a business account. So what type of business account you need is determined by what your needs are in the business. So you need to go into a branch of any of the banks and then, speak to an advisor. So let's leave it at that. Now, a term loan. Now, I'll explain the difference between a term loan and an operating line very shortly, but a term loan basically is a loan you take to purchase hard assets. I just want to be as simple as possible. I don't want to start using banking jargons. I want to buy a computer. You either need a term loan, which is the equipment. You want to buy a building, a term loan, and you want to do leaseholds. So leaseholds are things like your drywall, your paintings, and all of that stuff is what leasehold is. So if you're trying to open a restaurant and you're trying to upgrade that restaurant, most of the things you find there will be leasehold, renovation of the leased space. So basically, if you wanted to do any of these, apart from the building, you could either use a term loan or a lease. So lease is what I do for the bank. Now, basically, just think about it. It's not really like that, but think about it as leasing a car. So the ownership is not yours, but basically you're in possession of it. You use it day to day, but the ownership is still with the dealer, right? That's what we do with the bank. So if you buy an equipment, it's a tractor, a computer, an airplane, the ownership is not yours. The ownership is the bank, but you use it every day. After the leasing period, you can either purchase that equipment or you give it back to the lessor, in this case, which is the bank, right? And the buildings you need, the space, that would be a term loan. And the leasehold improvement could either be by a term loan or a lease. So that's done. Then the other thing you need is an operating line of credit. Now, simply put, we have big jargons here, account payables and account receivables. So let's break that down very simply, because I know that in Nigeria, we call it something different. I'll try to remember now. So it's what we're looking for is basically a line of credit where you are able to dip into. So account receivables is you offered a service or you've offered a product, but they haven't paid you yet. So someone's telling you, I'm going to pay you in 30 days time, right? Or 60 days. So between day 1 and day 60, you got to pay staff. You got to pay phone bills. You got to pay things like that. So the operating line allows you to continuously pay for these things while you get paid by the person who you offer the service to. So in day 60, when you get paid, you can now replace that line of credit. Now, please, the line of credit is not for purchasing the building. It's not for purchasing equipment. You're going to get stuck in there. So many clients make that mistake. So please don't use the line of credit for that. Your account payables is the opposite of the account receivables. These are things that you owe. So those are the things when I talked about you paying bills in terms of Telos and the rest of them, and then maybe you paying your vendors for supplies, that's an account payable. Okay. So then we go into a credit card program, right? So these are day-to-day expenses, things like you're trying to buy stuff from Staples, pens, pencils, things for work, like those kind of expenses. It's always easier on a credit card. Now, imagine yourself going to Staples and you're trying to buy a new set of pens for the staff or booklets, and you pull out the account details of a line of credit. It's really stressful. So what we do is try to make it easier, and you pull out your credit card and just pay for it and make sure you keep your receipts and all that. And I always advise that most credit cards are about 19%, 19.9% thereabout. And I advise, please don't leave the credit card hanging too long, because that also eats into your profits. And I don't advise that you use your credit cards to pay for larger items. Smaller items like gas and stationery is always very good for those. And the good thing with most banks, they have credit card programs where you pretty much collect points. So I'll give you an example. I had a client who had about 2 million points a few years ago. And, we see that 2 million is small, 2 million points a few years ago. And he was able to book flights for his holiday, his staff holidays and stuff like that. So those are things that, that all banks offer. It's just in different branding shapes and sizes. So Alexandra, you can move to the next. Okay, so this part will be spoken to by Matt. These are the different digital options that we have out there. But I just also wanted to speak about, one thing about, and I'm not trying to steal Hussam's thunder, but I just want to quickly speak to the entrepreneurial spirit. I'll do it in 5 minutes, and I'll be gone. Now, I feel there's one thing that kind of is a challenge for most entrepreneurs coming from outside of Canada, right? You're thinking, oh, I'm in a new country. So you've been doing great in your country. You make sales, you invent stuff, you're a creative person, and you're out there. Now, you come into a new country, and all of a sudden, those ideas tend to freeze. Now, I don't know if it's the minus 25 degree weather or it's just fear, right? Now, it could be both. So basically, what I tend to say to you is this: that you're still the same person. You still have that spirit, the same creation you did in your country, whether it be India, Nigeria, or any country, it's still the same thing you're carrying into Canada, right? Now, the only thing that's changed is location, and sometimes processing and services are actually better. So I'll give you an analogy of an elephant, right? So when you're training an elephant, I read a book one time, when you're training an elephant, you put them into the baby elephant is put into like a small circle, and you chain the leg of that elephant. So the elephant goes 1,000 times back and forth to a point, but it can't go past that point because that's the point where the rope lets him get to. Now, the elephant is released. They take that chain off the elephant, and he walks by himself and gets to that point. And guess what? He comes back, right? Because in his mind, he has a mindset that says, I can't go past this point. So basically what happens as immigrants, and this happened to me, I leave my country and I go to study or I go to work in another country. But the ideas that I had in my country, Nigeria, I'm thinking in my mindset that I cannot accomplish it here because I'm thinking, oh, I can't go past here because of the things that went wrong or right in my country. So maybe it takes me 20 days to register a business in my country, Nigeria. I'm just saying, for example. And I come to Canada, I'm like, oh God, it's going to take me another 20 days. So that's a setback. That's a mindset thing, right? Then it stops you from going forward. So I just want to say to you guys on the call, right? There's nothing in here that you cannot do if you are already doing it in your country or if you're thinking of doing it all new. There's so many franchises. I have friends in Toronto and even in Alberta who just do logistic businesses. All they do is they move African food from Nigeria and move it here. They don't see the food, and they get paid, right? So that's a business idea. Some people sell online. Some do wedding events. I do wedding event services, right? No more weddings this year due to COVID, but you know what? Things you find a way to innovate, right? And like I MC the 20 people wedding. I've never seen 20 people in a wedding before, but it happened, right? So those are the things that you need to understand, that please do not let your mindset hold you back. If you have ideas, places like Futurpreneur and Co. is one place you can go to. And finally, before I go, like I said earlier, COVID has presented us a huge opportunity to thrive in business. And I mean that. The reason I say that is this: apart from the fact travel time cutoff, apart from the expenses that you reduce by going to lunches and dinners with your business partners, we found a new way of doing things, right? Whoever thought that you could get on Zoom and have a meeting here? It's costing us little to nothing to do this meeting. So that reduces your expenses on the bottom line. And I also want to say that it's a time for new innovation in terms of you as an entrepreneur learning new skills. Please don't take it as a time when you feel, oh man, I can't learn this new skill. No, I'll give you an example. Last week, I provide content for a small online radio station we're trying to set up in December. And every time I want to create a content, I will go to my digital guy to say, hey, help me do this flyer, help me do this. I'm like, you know what? On Saturday, I'm like, you can't keep doing this, man. You got to learn this. So I went on Canva. Canva is an app for creating video and animations and all that stuff. And I pulled up a YouTube video, and boom, in 5 minutes. In fact, I wish I could show you what I did. I'm so proud of myself, right? So these are the kind of things that you can do as an entrepreneur. You cannot let the mindset hold you back. You also need to ensure that you're constantly innovating, you're constantly creating in your mind. And you and I know that by just holding onto this device, a phone, you can actually pretty much create anything. There are apps that help you with everything. So there's no excuse right now. You're in a world where things are going digital. So at that point, I will, pretty much move on to Matt to talk about the digital options that we have. And really, guys, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for the time. I wanted to make sure I did on that 20 minutes. I think I did. And yeah, Matt, it's your ball.
Perfect. Thanks, Hussam. And powerful message there. Really, and I echo those sentiments. One of the things I'm famous for saying in my team meetings and with RBC is two things. Like, now it's time to try something new and different, and it's disrupting that status quo. The worst thing you can ever say is, well, we've always done it that way. So try new things. If we're going to fail, I talk to, not only my team, but my kids and my coaching for some of the sports. If we're going to fail, we fail forward. We learn from our mistakes. We learn and we grow as a person, and we go from there. So very valid points. And just as a reminder again, before I get into some of the digital pieces that are available to us, just a reminder that there is the Q&A on the group chat, and there's also the Q&A panel, and then you can answer those questions, and we will answer the best we can. If we don't have an answer for you, we will follow up accordingly afterwards. So not to take too much time, but just, in the current environment where we are in Alberta and Edmonton specifically, with restrictions and COVID and what that looks like, don't let that deter you from starting your business. There are a number of digital tools available to you in the marketplace. Just doing a quick Google search that'll assist with not only the registration of your business, which Nosa touched on, but everything from collecting your payments and really functioning as an online store or getting online in general. So we just have a couple up here, and so Owner is one just from the perspective of actually getting registered or incorporated. It's an all online and all digital platform and channel that has been in the market for about 2 years now and has been very successful. When Nosa spoke about that, when you do the work or you provide a service but you don't get paid for 30 days, how do you invoice those clients, keep track of it? Well, Wave is a free accounting software that can help you, balance your books, make sure you're tracking your money, because we know that in business, cash is king. More recently, there's a brand new app available to us in the Emcee marketplace called Nextdoor, where it connects you with customers that are in your neighborhood. You have an online presence. It's very focused in it. It's, if you're selling a certain widget, or you're selling clothes, or, a food, quick service restaurant, it's hyper focused on putting you in touch with people around you. So leveraging those tools, and then the actual collection, we don't use cash very much anymore in Canada or in Edmonton when we're paying for things. We rely on our debit cards, we rely on our virtual PayPal, or what that looks like, or our credit cards, and we can leverage Moneris. Can you flip to the next slide, please? So again, these are just all things to consider when you're starting that business, or once you've had established. From another perspective, how do you pay your staff? How do you approach your bank? Well, we have, ADP for helping you with your payroll in your market. Magnet is a great app that we can use to, help you discover some young talent to match specifically to your business. So if you're looking for someone with that entrepreneurial spirit, someone that's very proactive in their place, and you're at that point where, you need a business development person like Nosa, well, Magnet's a great place to go. And then, in the early days, and I don't want to take anything away from Hussam, but, leveraging tools and other pieces in the market like Futurpreneur Canada, where it's, business resources, financing, and mentoring to help you establish and grow your business. And he'll go into a lot more detail with that, but it's one of the tools that is available to us here in Edmonton in the market. And just the last piece there. Last slide, please. Or the next slide. And then, when we talk about the digital aspect of, getting your business online, making it a presence, if you're shipping, like the example that Nosa used, like leveraging kind of pieces together, like Bookmark helps you, get your website established online. It helps you with, when you do a Google search, it helps you, have a presence and connect you with clients in the market, and where you don't need any coding or design experience. coupling that with Moneris, so you can process debit and credit card payments through the website, directly on the website, so you're getting paid same day or next day service, because keeping cash in well-capitalized companies is most important. And then shipping with UPS, like, I mean, when you dig in and you see bookmark Moneris, there's other partnerships that are available in the market to help you save on your costs there. So just being cognizant of aware of that, and exploring all options, and just taking a look. So again, just food for thought. And again, all of the digital pieces that we just shared and we kind of glossed over a little bit quickly, those aren't just specific to RBC clients. Those are specific to all clients in our marketplace. So really, doing your homework, making sure that you have an understanding of what you need, and going forward from there.